And it's, I think, probably quite different from a lot of people's experiences, and maybe quite what people might assume about me, because, you know, I'm known to be sort of queer feminist now, but I was very normative, you know, and again, personally, that came from having learned that I had to fit in, you know, in order to get any kind of belonging or acceptance. So when I hit my degree, I was very much sort of gender normative, heteronormative, and, you know, feminism. Yeah, I honestly thought back then, we've reached gender equality. Like, what's this all about? Somebody bought me Simone de Beauvoir when I was 18, and I never even read it. So I was, you know, I was that psychology undergrad, you know, and still through my PhD. And it was only that first, and, you know, I'm so grateful to Jonathan Elcock, because basically, there was a psychology of gender course back then at Cheltenham and Gloucester when I started, and Jonathan wasn't comfortable running it alone, and wanted a co-tutor. I don't actually know where Jonathan's gender is now, and mine is different to what it was then, but there was an idea that having two people of different genders running that course would have been a good idea. And so Jonathan encouraged me in to teach that, and you know, so suddenly I had to teach feminist psychology. So I'm just reading it, you know, over the summer, like going in September to teach it. And it's like, you know, absolutely mind blowing. You know, I'm just learning all about, like gender and how it works. And suddenly I'm a kind of, you know, very newbie feminist going like, whoa, you know, this I suddenly see the world really differently. So that would have been, like right after my PhD, so early 20s. And I didn't really look back from there. Like after that, it was feminist psychology and feminism much more broadly that really influenced me, and then increasingly queer thinking as well.
Yeah, that's so interesting, because I suppose that's fairly late on in the journey, perhaps, in terms of kind of PhD.
And I feel like it's helpful for me in a lot of ways with my work that I had that very normative period. So I really have a sense of how painful normativity can be. I think, you know, some people who've, you know, always been radical or feminist or queer or all those things, it may be hard to know what's it actually like to live in those quite normative worlds and relationships and ways of being. And I feel that, you know, a lot of my work's driven to say, you know, normativity is bad for everyone. And I think that comes from that kind of lived experience, you know, and also if I'm talking to people who are just not radical, not political, if I'm training therapists, for example, or, you know, talking to everyday folk with my books, again, hopefully I have a bit more of that sense of, you know, what it's how to be heard, you know, by that audience, even when you are saying those kinds of things, and how difficult it can be to hear when you're, you know, so much in those cultures and systems and just, you know, are quite threatened maybe by anything that's questioning of them.